Hollywood, you only had one job. Just one job!
Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. Isis, All That Glitters. The goddess next door takes on a bikini-clad bank robber in this action-packed all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, All That Glitters, paperback and Kindle Unlimited today.
Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. You would think a Barbie movie would be a slam dunk for Hollywood. You would think a Barbie movie would be something that even the most incompetent Hollywood executive could not mess up. A family-friendly, G-rated movie that you could take all of your children to, about one of America's pop culture icons, and it could be a fun, enjoyable story for everyone. Unfortunately, in 2020's Hollywood, even the most incompetent executive winds up screwing up an easy opportunity to make one of the biggest blockbusters of the summer. Now, Barbie will be number one at the box office in the first week, but I expect Barbie to drop like a rock once word of mouth comes out about this movie's identity politics and social justice themes. Now, this Barbie movie is one hot mess, and it's a hot mess because Hollywood decided to go out here and make a movie about feminism regarding one of the great pop culture icons of the 20th century. Now, the Barbie doll, when it was created back in the late 1950s, was originally designed to be a toy that was supposed to let little girls use their imagination. The Barbie doll was originally designed by Ruth Handler to be a doll that allowed girls to imagine themselves in different aspects of life, and it allowed them to see the world through a toy's eyes and allowed them to imagine themselves being able to be a part of the world as a little girl played with it. That was the original intention and mission for the Barbie doll. It was just a toy that allowed a little girl to imagine herself in what it meant to be like to be a woman, and imagine herself to be in the role of a woman. That is what a Barbie doll was all about. A Barbie doll was a character that was allowing little girls to imagine themselves in doing different jobs or doing different roles in the family. That was the original role of Barbara Millicent Roberts. She was supposed to be a tool for a girl to stimulate her imagination, similar to the way G.I. Joe was designed to help boys develop their imagination. That is what dolls are all about, helping girls learn how to role play in life so that they can see themselves as part of a world when they grow older. Unfortunately, what we got with this Barbie movie wasn't a movie where we could see a doll that was going and exploring the world that would help little girls understand and imagine themselves in the world. What we got was a movie that reflected the whole, what they call SJW and social justice agendas of many on the far left. And those individuals on the far left, instead of looking to give us a fun movie, decided to go out here and give us some feminist propaganda with Barbie as the lead character. Now, this is quite ironic because most feminists I've heard hate Barbie, and they hate what Barbie represents because Barbie to them is an unrealistic ideal of womanhood. Barbie is an unrealistic picture of women, and Barbie is something that goes out here and distorts the perception of women. That is one of the reasons why feminists hate Barbie, and I can see the contempt presented as related to Barbie all throughout what I've read about this movie. Because what I see with the feminists we're doing is trying to go out here and trying to put their own spin and agendas on Barbie, projecting their ideals onto Barbie. And when they do this, what they did was take all of the joy many young girls had about Barbie out of the one opportunity they would get for a mainstream Barbie movie. And that's the great shame of this 2023 Barbie movie, is that those little girls won't get the joy that many video game fans had earlier this year when the Super Mario Brothers movie premiered in theaters. Now, most fans of Super Mario, like myself, who've been playing the game ever since Mario appeared in Donkey Kong, we know how cool Mario is. We know what Mario was all about. And thankfully, the producers of the Mario movie stayed true to the Super Mario character, and they stayed true to the heart and soul of the Super Mario character. And we got a Super Mario movie that will be loved for generations, and we'll be watching this movie for years. But sadly, most Barbie fans won't be able to get a movie that will define the Barbie character. Now, what's really sad about this Barbie movie and all of the social justice and identity politics and feminism injected into it is that they had a great template for a Barbie movie in a Monster High direct-to-video movie from 2012. Now, back in 2012, they made a direct-to-video movie for Monster High called Ghouls Rule, and this Ghouls Rule movie is one that I can highly recommend after watching it, because Ghouls Rule basically took the characters of Monster High, put them in the real world, and had them interacting with a young teenager named Claire, who was trying to help the monsters clear their name after some kids participate in mischief and they get blamed for it. And as the Monster High kids are interacting with real kids, what this movie does is give us a fun movie. And this fun movie basically shows us that people and monsters can get along, and it's an absolutely fantastic movie I can recommend. And it would have been a great template for what would have been a blockbuster Barbie movie, because we would have gotten a Barbie movie where Barbie was in the real world interacting with someone that they can identify with, because in Monster High, Ghouls Rule, everybody identified with Claire, everybody saw themselves in Claire's shoes and could relate to Claire, and they could have done the same thing with Barbie, have her go into the real world by accident, and then when she's in the real world, she could have been with someone who would have been looking out for her, and it would have been a great movie because it would have allowed all those little girls to go out here and see themselves in the role of that friend, and that friend would have been somebody we could have related to, because that's how girls played with Barbie. They saw Barbie as their friend, and that's what they could have done with Barbie as the start of the plot of the movie. And they could have also added Ken, the boyfriend, in, looking to try to find a way to get Barbie home back to Barbie world. Again, this would have been a great template for a blockbuster movie that everyone would have enjoyed for generations, and it would have been a cinematic classic. Unfortunately, in 21st century Hollywood, you have a lot of miserable individuals who put agenda over story, and because they put agenda over story, Barbie is going into the real world because she's got bruises, she's got flat feet, which I had to shake my head about, because there are lots of Barbie dolls that had flat feet, like the gymnast Barbie from the late 80s, and several other dolls that had flat feet in order for her to wear sneakers. I mean, they were sitting there saying, oh, this Barbie doll is being abused, and because she's being abused, she has to enter into the real world to find her owner, to try to make her stop abusing her. And As Barbie enters the real world, she finds out that her owner's mother's name is Gloria, which is basically them trying to pay homage to Gloria Steinem, one of the leaders of the 20th century feminist movement. And as she goes to meet Gloria and her daughter is one of these, what they, I believe, gender studies, social justice types, who is abusing Barbie because she considers her to be an unrealistic standard of beauty. Again, not really understanding what Barbie is all about because she's been sitting there reading a lot of these feminist and women's studies books. And because she's been reading all of these feminist and women's studies books, she doesn't really understand that Barbie was just a toy designed to help little girls imagine themselves in the world, and doesn't really understand what the whole slogan of Barbie in the 80s was all about when it said, "We girls can do anything, right, Barbie?" It was all about imagining yourself in any sort of role as you were playing, and took all the joy out of the Barbie character. And that's the saddest thing about this Barbie movie. From what I've read, it just basically all the joy taken out of the character because a group of feminists just don't like the Barbie doll and what it represents, and wanted to go out here and push their own twisted ideals, which were similar to that of William Moulton Marston as related to his creation of Wonder Woman. Again, talking about Barbie being a matriarchal order, when originally Barbie was a world that was, again, about helping little girls imagine themselves in the world and having things in the world like everybody else. I mean, Barbie's boyfriend Ken was not some sort of emasculated guy with no purpose or no direction. No, he was just Barbie's boyfriend because every girl wants to have a boyfriend. And that's, again, something that really saddened me. They had it where the feminists had basically emasculated Ken and turned him into Pookie, which is in many black neighborhoods, because that's what you have in black neighborhoods due to black women being indoctrinated into feminism. You have populations of men with no purpose, populations of men with no direction, and those men are like that because all the women were given power by wealthy men. That's something that they don't talk about as related to the Barbie movie that I studied when I was doing my research for my book, The Woman Crisis. As I was doing my research for the book, The Woman Crisis, I learned that most of these feminists, they talk about girl power, but in actuality, they got their money and their jobs from wealthy men, and their power, ironically, is patriarchal from the devil's side, and they'll sit there and say, oh, they want to smash the patriarchy, which is what they push in Barbie as Ken creates a patriarchy, not understanding that men and women are under the greatest patriarchy created by the Most High God. And that patriarchy will never be destroyed because God, the creator of the universe, and his Messiah, his son, they are not anybody that anyone can challenge, and all who challenge them will be broken like wood, hay, and stubble. So what this movie is doing is trying to promote a whole bunch of dysfunction and confusion to little girls about politics and social justice, things that go over a child's head, and things that a child, I believe, is not mentally or emotionally ready for. No, all that feminist stuff has no place in a family movie for people of all ages. No, a Barbie movie should be something that is fun for all ages, and that's my big issue with this movie from what I have read all about it. From what I have read all about it, I am just upset about the whole idea that they put all of these adult themes in a family movie and put all of this overcomplicated political stuff in a movie that should be for children of all ages. A Barbie movie, as I see it, again, should be following the template of 2012 Monster High School's Rule, a movie that basically has the doll going into the real world and winding up in the real world where they meet somebody who is a friend and meet somebody who is a friend that just shows care and compassion and tries to look out for Barbie, because every little girl that had a Barbie doll, they would want to take care of their dolls. They would want to see their dolls be treated well, and because they would want to be treated well themselves, and they would want to follow the biblical principle of do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And again, that would be a core theme, because every girl, again, sees Barbie as a friend, and they would want to look out for their friend. And as they're looking out for their friend, they want to make sure that they keep her safe until Ken can come out here and come help bring Barbie back to the Barbie world. That, I believe, would have been a far stronger and compelling story, showing the humanity and decency of good people and showing how good people look out for each other based on what they have learned from playing with their toys, learning that they have to look out for other people and care for other people. I would believe that would be a great message to send as related to society, and I believe that would have been a message that would have resonated with people for generations. Unfortunately, there are just so many angry and mean-spirited people in Hollywood who are upset about their lives that they want to push their political agendas on something as innocuous as a doll, and they want to go out here and talk about smashing a patriarchy and smashing patriarchal orders when we are all part of the great patriarchal order of the Most High God by Him creating us. So when I listened to what they presented in this Barbie movie, it just made me shake my head, because here was a great opportunity to make a truly great film about one of America's 20th century iconic toys. And instead of going out here and making something that every kid could enjoy, these people basically took all of the joy out of a children's toy, took all the fun out of a child's toy, and took all of what it meant to generations of kids. And that's the saddest thing about modern Hollywood. They don't know how to go out here and have fun. They don't know how to have any sort of joy. They don't know how to enjoy life. I mean, everything is about their agenda. Everything is about trying to make people think the way they want to think. And that's not what storytelling is all about. And that's not what Barbie is all about. I mean, Barbie, again, was about opening up a child's imagination. It was all about opening up a child to see a larger world, because kids want to be a part of the world. They want to find out what the world is like. And toys help kids learn about the world. Cartoons help kids learn about the world. Comic books help kids learn about the world. These are the instruments that help kids get a picture of what life is like. And what these people did with this Barbie movie was show them a dark picture that would make every kid give up all hope. And that's the saddest part about this Barbie movie, as I see it, as a guy who goes out here and wants to write stories for all ages, like what I do on books like the Isis, Esteem, and John Haynes series. I mean, when I go out here and I write those kind of stories, and I write stories for older kids like Spellbound and books like The Thetas, I try to write books that help you see a world you can be a part of, a world where there are people who care about you, a world where people are friends, a world where people go out here and look out for each other. And it's not about the politics and, oh, people are oppressed. And again, you have the feminists, they want to push this whole oppression narrative. And that's one of the other things that just really annoys me, because we have a country where women have most of the jobs. We have a country where women are the largest voting bloc. So where is all of this oppression? Critical question I'd like to ask most of the feminists out here who complain about a patriarchy, but they are oftentimes considered first for employment. They go out here and have, again, lots of political power to the point where they got Al Franken to quit his Senate seat in the Me Too movement, and John Conyers, I believe, as well. Again, great political power, great economic power, controls most of the spending power in the country, but you have them sitting there talking about oppression, talking about patriarchy, when, again, patriarchy is a part of God's natural order. And you're going to go and talk about challenging God, and that's where I think that things are going with a lot of these feminists who really don't understand how good they have had it here in America, and they don't understand how good they've had it because we've had generations of simp men who have submitted and deferred to them, and as they've submitted and deferred to them, they've given them everything they want, basically spoiling them. And basically what they've done is reap what they sowed later than what they sowed with this Barbie movie as related to the black community, because the same feminist and emasculating messages were pushed in 1986's The Color Purple, which was an adaptation of their National Book Award-winning book by Alice Walker, a book that demonized black men and made them out to be the bad guy, and made black men to look like sexual predators and brutes. And here we have a Barbie movie almost 34 or 35 years later that is doing the same thing to white men, and that's them reaping what they sowed and getting karma for going out here and demonizing the black man like they did with The Color Purple. And now what they're doing is taking one of America's icons and taking America's icon and turning her into a Sealy and making out Ken to be like Mr. or one of the, or what I believe that's his name in The Color Purple, because that's basically what I see this Barbie movie as. It's basically The Color Purple with Barbie dolls, and it's The Color Purple with Barbie dolls because the same themes of The Color Purple, which Color Purple was basically all about demonizing black men and making black men look like monsters, and now they're trying to do the same thing with white men, with Ken. And again, white men basically are just getting their karma for doing this to black men 30 years ago, and now they see that with this movie, they have just made themselves, they've just basically reaped what they sowed later than what they sowed and greater than what they sowed, as one of America's icons has been twisted and turned into something that she isn't. And it's really sad because Barbie meant a lot to little girls. Barbie meant a lot to kids. And that's the thing that, just again, as an author of books that I write for all ages and made primarily for little girls, like the Isis and Esteem series and books like Spellbound, I write those books so that girls can get a picture of the world, get an understanding of what life was like in the world. I mean, The Goddess Next Door is all about Isis exploring the world and learning about life in the 20th century. It's about a goddess going into the 21st century, really, and learning about the 21st century world. And that's what that book was all about. And sadly, little girls are the ones who get lost here, as adults who are bitter go out here and push their feminist propaganda. As little girls who want to learn about the world, what happens is they don't have something way to imagine or see themselves in a world, because they're taught, oh, the world is bad, there's a patriarchy, everybody is evil, when that's not the case at all. I mean, a child should be allowed to have their innocence. They should be allowed to explore the world and see people and learn about people and learn about life. I mean, that's what I loved about 2012 School's Rule for Monster High. It showed that there were people in the world who were good, people in the world who were kind, like Claire, who looked out for the monsters, showed a world where there were people who were looking to be friends. And I'm sad to see that a direct-to-video Monster High movie did what a Barbie movie should have, and it's just embarrassing that you spent hundreds of millions of dollars when a direct-to-video movie did everything better than what has been done with this Barbie movie. Now, if you want to pick up some positive stories for your daughter, you can pick up the books of the ISIS series and the books of the Esteem series, and my YA novel Spellbound in paperback and Kindle format on Amazon.com. And if you have older girls, they can go out here and pick up my sorority novel, The Thetas. All of these books, again, are available in paperback and Kindle format, and they're also available at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, Barnes & Noble, and Google Play. And if you would like to see me make more videos like this, you can send a donation to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, the Beauty Myth. Learn the beauty secrets of the goddess next door in this action-packed Isis series adventure. Get Isis, the Beauty Myth at online booksellers everywhere today.
Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.